Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark the Mark Martinez.
Happy 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. The lovely Ringside Rain told you that I am the host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and I have a very special guest this week as we're heading back to North Carolina, one of my favorite states, definitely out there. And I love being in North Carolina when I get the chance, especially over WrestleCade weekend, but I need to make it down there more. Nonetheless, that's about me. We are going to be talking with the one, the only, CC Young. Young into the professional wrestling business, but has so much to offer. I'm telling you right now, I usually don't say this a lot, but you're going to be seeing her on TV real freaking soon. What she does in the ring, persona-wise and everything, she is unbelievable. So, you know how I work on Can Crushers. I kind of watch them for a little bit and make sure. Some may say stalking, but I stalked her for a while, saw what she was doing. I'm like, all right, this is a chance. I need to reach out to get this interview set up. So, yeah. CC Young is going to be my guest this week here on the Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight. So, got her on the line. We are going to be talking with her real quick, so we're going to shoot through all the bills and everything real quick. Guys, you know that we've been linked up with Collar and Elbow for years. They're amazing. Go and buy everything from Collar and Elbow and use our promo code to save yourself 10%. Our promo code, it's Can Crushers. Capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. Smash it all together and you'll save 10% off of some sweet shirts. Don't forget, if you're going to be buying a new Bloodline shirt or a Randy shirt or an LA Knight shirt, whatever shirts that you want from the WWEshop.com, in our show notes, we have an affiliate code. You may get a discount, you may not. We're very transparent on here, but you know you're going to be spending that $30 for a shirt. So you're listening to the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Send some love back our way by using our affiliate code. All right? That'll be awesome. Guys, we also have merch too over at CrowdMade. Head over to CrowdMade, type in Can Crushers, you'll see our hoodies, our tees, our tanks, all the cool stuff that we have there. Rep Can Crushers wherever you go. Just had a couple big orders, and that's really cool. I saw that about a week ago, so I want to thank Can Crusher Nations for doing that. Somebody loves us out there, and that's really awesome. Don't forget, I'm a garbage man, a shoot job, and I live off of W. 2 scoops of W in the morning, shake the shit out of it, and it gets you rocking and rolling for the whole day. There's no crash, there's no carbonation. Those 2 are my favorite. There's no calories. I love that too because I'm a big man. And I'll tell you, I will always endorse W and 2 of my favorite flavors. They are Beach and Peach and Calo Cream. Those are the 2 that I go to all the time. I switch it back and forth like every month. But it's powder. You can throw it in essentially any drink that you want to. I use it with water in the morning, and it's unbelievable. It keeps me rocking and rolling from 4 o'clock in the morning until late on in the night without any issues. Also, don't forget to join all our discussions on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, all those cool places that you want to hang out and chat with us. If you have questions, you have concerns, you want to suggest somebody that you'd love to hear on the podcast, reach out to us by DMing us, or you can email us at cancrushers69@gmail.com. That's a great way to do it. We get emails all the time about this, that, or the other. I've reached out to some people. I love that. If you're an independent wrestler, promoter, referee, broadcaster, whatever you want to say, you're associated with wrestling, and you'd love to be on a spotlight as well, use those same ways. We'll get you scheduled. We'll have you rocking and rolling, doing your own thing here. I said rocking and rolling a couple times so many. I don't know. It's stuck in my head today. It's the 4th of July. I'm ready to rock and roll, have some few beers, right? Nonetheless, reach out to us and we'll get you scheduled. We want to hear your story, why you got into wrestling, why it's your passion, and all of that cool stuff. What else do I have to say? Nothing. Oh, where you can listen to us? Everywhere. Legit everywhere. From Spotify to iHeart to Google, it's not anymore, to Podurama, IMDb. You can like, subscribe, and share all of those. You can find us, the audio version, on YouTube. Wherever your ear holes take you to listen to your podcast, we're there. So make sure you give us a listen and tell others about it if you like any of these spotlights or our randomness that we do on weekends. All right, CC's been on hold long enough, so let's send it out. You'll hear from somebody, a past guest, to say how great we are, how much we suck. But and then we're going to be back with CC Young.
Hey, y'all, this is Sam Houston. I got to tell you, if you want to know the latest in wrestling and what's going on, tune into Can Crushers every time it comes on. I know I will. Later, y'all.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, folks. You heard how excited I was in my interview to talk to a rising star from North Carolina. I really love North Carolina. I really do. You hear me when I go down to WrestleCade and all that and the other thing. But you don't need to hear that anymore. You need to hear from my guest. Again, rising star, ripping it up, CC Young. CC, how the hell are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How's the weather down in North Carolina?
It's hot.
It is hot.
Yeah, I thought about sitting on the porch to do this, and I was like, nope, not going to last out there.
The whole East Coast is like, listen, Pennsylvania doesn't get as hot as North Carolina. When I come down around Thanksgiving time, I love it because it's still like 60. I can wear shorts. I'm good like that. It's been dreadful up here. Like 95 for us is like, nope, we're not leaving the house.
Wow, I didn't know it got that hot up there.
Thanks. Yeah, we're just hillbillies up here. We don't do much.
No, I'll take this, though. I hate the cold. The cold is my least favorite thing ever, so.
Yeah. So
I'll take this over cold winters.
You don't want any of our snow?
No, absolutely not. You can keep that.
Thanks. We'll send it. I'll bring some down to you, by the way, when I come down in November.
Maybe for like a day, but like that's it. Then I'm over it.
Then you're over it.
Yeah.
I was going to start with how many pink drinks have you had today, because I know you're a lover of pink drinks. But the weather, of course, the weather's always the easiest thing to go with, right?
All right. I wish I had one. I haven't had any today.
Like every time I see a TikTok or an Instagram, you have it, or you make a mean face because you don't get one.
Now I'm upset because that would have been a great thing to sip on during this interview.
Right? Right. That's bad on me. I should have Ubered you one.
You should have told me. You should have told me. You should have had it pre-ordered. I would have picked it up myself.
Right.
Already ready to go.
I apologize. I completely apologize. I've been horrible the last couple interviews. Yeah, the next time you come back on, I will make sure to have one sent to your house from like a drone or something. We have that money here on Can Crushers, by the way. We have that money.
I know you do. I know you do.
All right, let's get into this because I love the stories, guys. As you heard in the intro, I love the stories about indie wrestlers, how they got into it. We know the ones about Randy Orton and this, that, and the other. We love the homemade stories. So, Cece, when you were little Cece, who introduced you to professional wrestling? Mom, Dad, Aunt Sally, Uncle Joe? Like, how'd you find this crazy sport?
So it was my dad, actually. My dad watched it whenever I was a kid. When I was really little, I wasn't into it. I was like, I don't know, a little afraid of it, honestly. It wasn't until I hit about 14 that I really like got into it. Because he would leave Raw on the TV pretty much every Monday night. So I just remember there was one Monday I was just walking through the living room. He had it on the TV, and I think it was John Cena was on the screen.
Of course.
And I remember whatever was happening. I don't even really remember what exactly was happening now, but whatever was happening, it made me stop. My dad wasn't even in the room. He had gone to the bathroom or something. I stopped and started watching, and then it kind of just went from there. It's like, I got to watch next week, and then it just, here we are.
So you watched it, or you dabbled with it, that's probably the best way of putting it, before you've noticed John Cena, right? It was just on Dad watch. But
yeah.
That's kind of me because like my grandfather did it for me. I knew it was there. I might have sat down and watched it with him, but it was like one match that always stuck out when I was watching it with him. So you were a John Cena girl through and through.
Oh yeah, big John Cena fan.
Okay. Who else? Who else were some of your favorites growing up?
Growing up, big fan John Cena, Randy Orton. I started watching TNA, became a big fan of AJ Styles. Really loved AJ Lee at the time. She was a couple years after I started watching, but she was like the first woman that I was like, oh wow, I really like her. So yeah, The Miz, I always liked him. He cracked me up. I thought he was hilarious. So very entertaining guy. So I love the talkers, the big entertainers like John Cena and The Miz, those kind of guys.
I don't want to fast forward this, but if you've ever listened to the podcast before, and I'm not saying this to you, anybody that listens out there, you know I jump all over the place. I can see that. When I get to my comparison, you're a hell of a talker. From a couple of the clips that I've seen, this, that, and the other, you really latch on to that part of professional wrestling, don't you?
That's my favorite part, honestly. just the being a character, just being like big and loud. It's not something I get to do every day on my regular life, outside of wrestling. So it's like when I get into wrestling, it's like, yes, let's go all out. Let's be CC Young.
Let's be the cool star that you are.
Right, exactly. Let's be the real me. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, right. Sports as a kid, kind of. How do we get to professional wrestling? Because you said it was on, but what did you kind of do? Because I think something got snapped in the back of your head. You're like, I'm going to do this when I grow up. I just don't know how yet.
Yeah, so, I played softball when I was younger. I'll be honest, I was not that good at it, but I played it. And I played volleyball. I was pretty good at volleyball. That was my favorite thing.
You got a little bit of the height, so yeah.
Yeah. So that worked out for me. So that was pretty much the only sport that I was ever really into in like middle and high school and whatnot.
You said that you like being a character, and this isn't anywhere on my list. Did you like doing plays and dramas and stuff? Because I clearly now all of a sudden you would be Snow White, you would be Cinderella, you would probably love being the Wicked Witch or whatever. I'm just throwing it all out there. Were you a play kid? And it's no shame if you. Oh my God!
I actually wasn't. I wish I was. I'll tell you, I signed up for theater every year of high school, and they never put me in the class ever. So they were hindering me.
Shame on them.
I know. They kept putting me in dance. I'm not a dancer. That is not my thing. So they kept putting me in dance classes for some reason. But yeah, no. I did a few like church plays and things growing up, and I always really enjoyed those. Those were always a lot of fun. But that was about the extent of it.
Okay. All right. I knew there was something in there.
Well, I remember being little, like a younger kid with my cousin, and we would put on plays and stuff for our family. Like we'd do like our whole Christmas play for the family, make them come around in the room, and we'd put on some acts and stuff. So I did do that when I was like really little.
You and your cousin wrote them yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, so they were, they should be blockbuster movies then, right?
They should be. I don't know if they were recorded anywhere, but I wish. They didn't know yet.
So when was that moment then that you said, I'm going to go do this? Because you didn't like it at the beginning. You kind of loved John Cena and everybody else you named. When was that aha moment that you're like, I'm going to wrestle?
So it's actually a pretty interesting story. So I graduated high school. I went to college. It was always something that was kind of in the back of my mind, but like, I don't know. It was always kind of beat into me like, oh, go to college, get an education.
Yeah, that doesn't work out, kids, by the way. 47 communications degree over here being a garbage man. Whatever.
Well, I did the thing. I went to college, got a degree. I got a master's degree and all that. During my master's program, actually, so I started getting really big into AEW at the time. And I got an email, just like random, because I was signed up for like the shop stuff, that was like looking for a AEW Super Fan in Charlotte, North Carolina area. Not thinking anything of it, I filled out the thing. I ended up having a few interviews and actually getting picked for the thing. So there is a YouTube video.
What? See, I don't do my homework. Now I have to do this right off the bat.
Well,
Damn it.
A lot of people don't know this. Honestly, I don't really talk about it a lot. But honestly, that's what happened. So that I did the thing. I got to meet with like Dr. Britt Baker, kind of like spend the day with her and stuff. And I just remember after the day was over, it was just like, oh my God, this is the best day ever. This is the coolest thing ever. I need to do this. And that was the clicking point for me right there.
Okay, so the Can Crusher Nation that listens every week, and I'm not throwing you under the bus, CC, knows this story. Have you listened to anything on this podcast? And it's okay if you say no, I'm not going to care.
I have not.
Good. It's unbelievable the name that you hung out with. Okay, who was it again?
Uh-huh.
Who was it again at
Dr. Britt
AEW?
Baker.
Yeah.
Britt Baker.
I saw her, and you're going to be like, oh, no shit, a lot of people did. I saw her very first match ever in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
And I didn't know this until I did my homework because she lives about half an hour, 45 minutes. She grew up about half an hour, 45 minutes where I am. After I went back, because this name, Britt Baker, I called her basketball games, Cece.
Oh, wow.
On local radio and everything up and around this area. Britt and I become huge fans. I'm her fan, but friends. She made it onto my logo sleeve, a tooth with her B&B and that, double snake and everything. Unbelievable small world.
Awesome.
That Britt Baker's the one that got you into wrestling.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. It was like, that was the final, call of okay, yep, we're doing it.
That's great. Have you reached out to Britt and say anything like this, like you're the reason?
No, not. I think I made one a tweet of where it started versus where it ended. After I won my first title, and she liked it or saw it or commented on it or something. But that's about the extent of it. No, I haven't really talked to her.
Oh, we'll have to make that connection. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
So you find out. Did you know anything about indie wrestling prior to, you signing up for a school or anything?
No, not really. Very, very little knowledge.
Okay. Yeah. A lot of us didn't. We thought it was NWA, WCW, TNA.
Right.
That was it. You had no clue about it, right?
Right. I knew there were some bigger ones like GCW and stuff, but I had no clue there was any around where I was in North Carolina.
So how do you find your training center then? You just hunt and peck?
No, honestly, it was all kind of fate because literally right after the AEW thing, I ended up meeting someone who was a wrestler that was training in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So I met him through some mutual friends, and he found out that I was a wrestling fan, and he was like, "Hey, I train here. Why don't you come down or whatever?" So it kind of just happened that I just met someone around that same time that was training in North Carolina at a school.
That's crazy. It's fate, right?
But yeah, it has to be at this point.
So talk to me first day of training. You're full of piss and vinegar. You're ready to go in there and just do stuff. And then talk to me about when you're leaving the first day of training and you're like, oh my God, that was rougher than I thought. I know there's a story.
Yeah. Let's see. I do remember thinking, obviously, this is definitely harder. I knew it was gonna be hard, going into things. I knew it wasn't gonna be easy from the get go. So it was definitely tougher than you imagine. However, I just remember, especially after the first few months or whatever, I would leave and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go back though, because it's you just get this energy rush from it, the adrenaline and just okay, we're doing the thing. Especially once you're working on something, you finally learn how to bump, you finally learn how to do this, finally learn to do that. It's okay, we're getting somewhere, we're doing something. So it's just, I just remember the constant encouragement, okay, I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back.
Was there any injuries while you were training? Did you ever have a thought man, this might not be for me or anything like that? Or were you just, let's go?
I never really did have I haven't really had yet,
knock on wood.
Yeah, right. I've had little things here, and I sprained my ankle a few weeks ago, and then I had a plantar something on my foot very early on. But no, I haven't had anything to the point that made me think this is not for me yet.
Good. I always say this. I make sure I get it in. Once you're in that ring or in that training, wrestling just takes over your bloodstream, and in a good way. It becomes a sickness, right? It's addictive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I say it now, I'm I don't think I could stop if I wanted to.
Good.
In a way.
Because you shouldn't. You shouldn't, because I hope your dream match, when we get to it, and don't spoil it, but I hope your dream match is against Britt. I'm just throwing that out there sometime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's the family say? You know, hey, I'm getting into professional wrestling. We're like, no, you're not. You're daddy's little girl. We're not doing this.
Yeah, they had very mixed reactions, I feel like. Because I remember they had came to meet me for my birthday for like a dinner or something right before I started. Or no, I think I'd already went to training a couple of days before I told them, right before I started training. And I was like, hey, I got to tell you guys something. But I think their minds went to literally the worst thing ever. So when I said that, they were relieved. Because I set it up in a way where it was like, okay, this is not so bad. My dad was really excited, probably more than anyone else, because he was the one that introduced me to wrestling. So he's big into it. My mom's definitely the more skeptical one, still is. Of like, she's being a mom. She's like, what if you get hurt? What if this? What if that? So
that's moms. It really is moms. Same thing kind of when I started doing. Listen, I did some training before I just sat back and did like announcing and all of this. When my mom was alive, she's like, you are unathletic. And this is me and my mom's conversation. You are unathletic. You're definitely going to kill yourself. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to try it. So I'm behind a mic now. I'm, doing things that I should. But now mom's number one fan. She's helping you make merch and everything, right?
There you go. Right. Yeah. No, she does. My dad comes to they come to, if it's within a few hours driving distance, they usually come to most shows, honestly.
Let's talk. Cool. Let's talk first match then. How were the jitters that night? How was everything?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty intense. I had my first match with my trainer, so that definitely did, kind of help the nerves a bit. But it was at a Comic-Con.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
It's a different atmosphere then than a wrestling event.
Oh yeah. So it in a bigger crowd, honestly, than what probably would have been at like a regular event if I would have debuted at a regular show. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, no, definitely very nerve-wracking day for sure. But then I remember that night, I don't even think I barely slept that night. The night after, because there was still like so much.
Oh, the adrenaline running through that you did it? Yeah. A question's going to come back around, trust me. Oh, no, it was. When we get back to training real quick, is there something that you caught on to real quick? Because, listen, I'm going to make my comparison real quick in a second about who I think you are. So I think you're uber athletic. I do. You look amazing in the ring. Is there something that you caught on easily to? And is there something that you're like, oh, man, I struggled with that?
Yeah, I feel like throwing like strikes and stuff, I caught on pretty easily with that. Definitely chops. I have, again, the volleyball background, hitting those I do a lot of overhand chops in my matches because that was very relatable to me. So I can hit those pretty hard and pretty stiff, and get a good noise off of it. So
you get a little hella noise off of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been a bit of a staple in my matches, and that was probably. I remember the first day I did a chop, and they were like, "Start with the volleyball," and I was like, "All right, bet." And then here we go.
On the flip side, is there anything that you didn't? You're like. The running the ropes. Listen, everybody still doesn't believe me that running ropes sucks. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm very pale, so I bruise and scratch up easily from the ropes. Yeah, I have scratches and bruises all the time. Probably the biggest hurdle for me was anything to do with, like, flips. I was never into, like, flipping on the trampoline or flipping in the pool. I was never that girl, never that kid. So that was a big... anytime I had to, like, flip, bump, that kind of stuff, that was hard for me to get, for sure.
Okay. All right. This is where I ask, who is CC Young? And you're going to tell me, it's me times 150%. That's the wrestling answer. We don't want to hear this.
Right.
I'm going to give you 3 people that I see kind of in you and tell me how good I am or how horrible I am. You mentioned one already. You mentioned AJ Lee. I see that spunk. I see all of that when you come out. So, AJ Lee. The second one is because I think she's one of the greatest women's wrestling anything talker. I'm getting all of the atmosphere in. She's still just stuck on the indies. I think Hollywood Haley J is one of the greatest talkers. And you're there. I'm telling you, I said it earlier, that you can cut a promo. You can cut this. You can make me understand that. I get that with Haley J and you.
Okay.
The third one I was kind of in between two people because I can see you fluently move like Lita, but you said you don't like flying, so that instantly took that one off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you Charlotte Flair then because you have this the frame and everything, and you're both in volleyball essentially. And I know that's a cheap cop out, but like those are my 3-4. How am I?
Okay.
Who do you think you are with 3 wrestlers?
Out of those 4?
No, you can. No. Your 3. Own? Yeah.
A big one that I take a lot from would be Chelsea Green.
I love Chelsea Green.
Yeah. No, I love her. I love, again with the talking, again with the character work. I love her. Britt, I go back to Britt. I take a lot of inspiration from her as well. And then I will go with the AJ Lee.
Okay.
I will go with that. I like being compared to Charlotte though.
That. I'm telling you, you have moves, but and I kind of listen. Everybody knows I have like a list written down, and I kind of this, that, and the other. Once you said you don't like to fly because you glide in the ring. I don't care if you're like, well, I don't know. Sometimes I don't. You do. That's where I saw a lot of Lita right off the bat. But then you're like, I don't like flying. So I'm like, okay.
I don't mind. It's not so much the flying; it's more the flipping. Like my head going on. I'm not doing any swantons anytime.
Right, and that's Lita's number one thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, all right, your 3 would be, again, Britt, AJ, and Chelsea, which...
Yeah.
Chelsea and Britt had a hell of a match at IWC, by the way, one time. Make sure you watch that. I digress. Let's take a break from wrestling and do, like, nerd stuff. When CC isn't doing wrestling stuff, I mean, you're taking a complete day off of wrestling. I know it really doesn't happen, but we're pretending. What do you like to do? Video games, music, this, that, and the other.
Big reality TV watcher here.
Really?
So,
Are you getting ready?
Most of my off days I'm watching trash reality TV.
Are you a fan of Big Brother?
No, I never watched Big Brother actually.
Oh, I was so excited. The new season starts like next week, essentially. But yeah. What trash TV do you like? You like trash TV then, like Honey Boo Boo and crap like that, don't you?
I will watch that, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
Wife Swap is my favorite trash reality TV show of all time. I love that show. It's so entertaining. I'm rewatching Dance Moms right now.
Okay.
For some reason. I really love that one.
You need to spend a night with my wife then, because you're naming everything that I walk out of the room when she's watching, by the way.
It's fun. I don't know. It gives me a chance to like watch it without having to like be fully focused, I guess, on the TV. Because I don't know, I have the attention span feels a pretty short attention span. So I feel like when I'm watching movies and TV, I'll zone out and then I'm lost. So reality TV, it's a little bit more relaxing, I think, for my head.
Reality TV, you can use that escape like we use wrestling as an escape, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Favorite music, kind of stuff like that. Are you a video gamer at all?
No, I'll play Pokemon, but that's about the extent of it. I got a Switch recently just to play Pokemon, actually.
Nice.
So I wanted to play some of the new games, so I do that. But that's about all I do for that. Music-wise, big Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if that last promo I
should have. Yeah, I was gonna say I should have known that.
I was listening to Taylor in the car.
Yeah. All-time favorite Taylor song?
Oh God, that's hard. I don't know. It depends on the day of the week.
You're truly a Swiftie. You don't have to answer. You said enough. You're completely right by that.
Which one am I stuck on? Right now I'm stuck on I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That one's got a chokehold on me right now. That's all I listen to.
I'm old school. I mean, I don't know how old school you want to call it. Taylor's never going to be old for me. Bad Blood just does it for me. I love Bad Blood. Favorite
one. Is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some random questions. I have 4, and I have a special guest that wants to ask you one. So let's go to her first.
Hi, this is Gina Marie, and my question is, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Let's see. Well, first one would be Taylor Swift. because
Of course, we just mentioned that. Yeah.
yeah, obvious reasons. And I just want to talk to her about, I don't know, just she gets a bad rep, and I want to know how she feels about it. You know, like how do we deal with these haters? How do we do this?
She's so successful, though. People are, and this is Mark being me, like real person Mark, not podcast host or wrestling Mark. She's so damn successful. People are just jealous of her. That's all it is.
It's got to be. Yeah, I don't see why any other.
She's got an amazing heart. Read her story, this, that, or the other. By the way, I live in the town. This is unbelievable, the shit that we're talking about today on a wrestling podcast. I live in the town that her great-grandparents used to live in. Like, the house is 1,000 feet away from my house. Where her great... I don't think she's ever been here, trust me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, look it up. Ridgeway, Pennsylvania, her great-grandparents were from here.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. Unbelievable, stupid fact, but there you go. Sorry. So Taylor Swift's the one that you're going on a dinner date with. Who else?
I'd have to go with John Cena, just because that was my, big introduction into wrestling. So I'd have to go with him. I had to pick one wrestling person in there.
Thanks for keeping it wrestling, by the way. I never do. So good.
Well, I just pick someone in there. And then, let's see. The last one, maybe it's just kind of nerdy, but maybe my favorite author. I like books.
Okay.
So his name is Marcus Zuzak. I don't know if he's dead or alive, actually, but I just want to know. I would just like to talk to him about kind of the inspiration and stuff from some of my favorite books and things.
What's he write on? Like what kind of books does he have? I mean, I'm not going to read it unless it's a wrestling book or a baseball book. I'm not reading it.
It's historical fiction is mostly what he does. My favorite one is called The Book Thief.
Okay, all right, look that up. It's on CC's #1 list.
Yep. You gotta go read it. It'll make you happy. Oh, actually, it's kind of sad.
All right, let's not read it. Just give it 5 stars. All right, ready for my 4 stupid ones?
Yes.
What is your greatest regret thus far in life? Because listen, you're a baby. You're a baby. You shouldn't have any regrets, but I'm going to make you have one. What's your greatest regret?
I'm probably older than you think I am.
I don't want you to give your age. We can do that after the podcast. But
okay. I mean, I'm not that old, but I don't know. Let's see. Like, I do wish I would have gotten into wrestling earlier, because I do feel like, especially as a woman, I feel like I'm a little late in the game. Which, I mean, I don't regret the path necessarily, because, like, I have a good job now, so it's like I don't have to fully rely on wrestling to pay my bills and stuff, which is nice. Takes away some of that stress. But I do wish I would have made that decision a bit earlier.
Okay.
To go ahead and at least get my foot in the door, because I feel like I'm hitting it now as hard as I can at where I'm at, and I wish I had. You always wish you had more time,
Agreed. You could say shut up, Mark, but any one of the big companies signs you'll walk away from your job?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good. That's the passion. That's the love. I love it.
I would, yes. However, I would probably try to keep apart some of it. Like, what I do, I could do it on the road, and I could do it part-time. So I would probably stop it initially, but at some point I would probably want to keep that up, because I do have passion in what I do outside of wrestling as well.
Okay. I love it. Great answer. Number 2, if you could instantly become an expert at one of anything besides wrestling, what would you want to be an expert at?
Oh, God. My mind goes immediately to, like, athletic things, though. So, like, gymnastics is my first thought. And again, my mind goes to something else wrestling related, and that would be like sewing and stuff.
Okay.
So that would like help my wrestling career, for being honest.
Like a marketing or something.
Yeah, or maybe a dog trainer. That would be fun too.
Oh, you just did the dad moment of the podcast. I love dog. You're a big dog person then, right?
I do like dogs, yes.
Yeah, my 2 are like right out. The wife and child are away right now. We're just having a conversation over phone. We're not even doing a podcast anymore, but whatever, I digress. So my boys are both right beside me, and it's so nice to have dogs around. It really is. I couldn't live my life without a dog. I'll put it that way. What's your guilty pleasure? and I want to know, like, food. We've already talked about the pink drink, so we can't say that. Like, what is your number one food thing that you're like, I shouldn't be eating this, but I'm going to eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts today?
Right now, I am obsessed with French toast sticks, but you got to put them in the air fryer. I just discovered them in the air fryer.
What?
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing ever.
I'm a fat guy,
frozen one?
Cece. I'm a fat guy. Now I need to try this.
It
live out of our air
gives it
fryer,
right
by the
amount
way.
of crisp. Yes, they're amazing. It just gives them the perfect amount of crisp. I literally get home from work every day, and that's what I want for dinner. My boyfriend's like, no, you can't have this every night. And I'm like, I'm an adult. You can't tell me what to do.
Right. But you need, like, protein. I need French toast sticks.
I need to be happy. It's a dopamine rush.
Very, very well put. Last one, if you could ask one person and they truthfully had to answer the question, what question would you ask them and who, of course?
Yeah, okay. I would do the Taylor. I would ask Taylor, I want to know why she decided to, I want to know why initially she decided to remake her old albums. Like, what was the thought behind it? Like, there had to be, like, something in her that said that these old albums were not good enough, and I want to know why.
Yeah, I like that. I think everybody, I think all the Swifties want to kind of know that.
Yeah, it's like something had to be up with, like, other people producing it that made her want to produce it herself, but I want to know the tea.
Okay. All right, back to wrestling. Essentially, we were all over the place, and I love that. See, this is what I like. Fans really get to know you then about that, so that's really cool. Behind the curtain, who has given you the best advice about pro wrestling?
I mean, the biggest advice I always get you want me to name someone?
Yeah,
right?
Go ahead. Okay. Yeah, if you want to.
Jack Tatum. He always tells me, he's just like, the biggest advice he always gives me is just like, relax and have fun. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing it for. I'm here to have fun, you know?
That's not only in wrestling, that's great advice in life, essentially.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's just like, don't sweat the small stuff. Something doesn't happen right, you learn from it and you get better for next time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's always helpful with when I get really stressed out and nervous about matches and things.
So, also part of Infamous. Let's talk about that a little bit. Give me some dirt on that. Give me some tea.
Do your homework.
I do a little bit.
Yeah, so Infamous is a group with me, Jack Tatum, and CJ Evans, who's actually my cousin. So the basis of the group is I kind of brought them together because I was related to CJ and then started dating Jack. So
you're kind of like Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, one big family.
So what's plans for Infamous here going forward? What do we want to do? Do we want to travel as a group? Do we want to continue kind of doing some solo stuff? We'll get back to you again solo as well. But, for the group, mindset, what do you want to take on the world, right?
Oh, yeah. No, we're definitely trying to expand because we haven't, honestly, the group is fairly new and we haven't really gotten it out much. So we're definitely looking to go other places with it and take it to different, because I mean, with a 3-man group like this, you have so much you can do with it. They can do tag, I can do singles and ladies. We can do intergender, we can do mixed tags, we can do 6-man. Like, there's so much to do with a group of 2 guys and a girl. So it's like, yeah, let's go. Let's take this on the road. We mesh very well together. I think we all kind of play off each other because we're genuine friends.
Right.
So
you're genuinely family.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody knows, if you're going to jump, they know how high. If like you guys are just an amazing bond. Right.
Yeah. I mean, we don't even have to. Yeah. Everyone knows everyone's stuff. It's basically mind reading at this point.
Yeah. And Infamous is doing great things out there, guys. Make sure when Cece gives her socials at the end and all that, make sure, because she's going to tag Jack and all of everybody else in it, and just follow them. Because, listen, I've done my homework a little bit, and I stalked these people for a couple months, and then I'm like, all right, I've gotten enough. I need to have them on the show. So, yeah. This is the hardest question that I ask on the podcast, and it kind of gets me some hate once in a while because it is what it is. wrestling is still wrestling. Like, it's not always loved. What would you change in professional wrestling? Because there's stigma here, there's nasty people there. Like, what would your number one thing to erase in professional wrestling?
Being on the indies, I would say people wrestling that aren't trained properly.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people will like get in there and like they haven't been training, they haven't been working, so it's like that's not safe, you know? Like we have to take care of each other. So it's like if you're not training, why would I get in the ring with you? You know?
Yeah.
So if we could make it more of like a better way to ensure that people are actually being properly trained.
I agree with that wholeheartedly because there was an accident up and around this area a while ago. I don't know this for sure. I know Pennsylvania is one that you don't need a license. I'm for that everybody should have to have some type of licensing or something to prove that you went to a notable school. Nobody's going to Can Crushers Wrestling School, okay? I'm not training anybody. They're not going to come here. You go to a notable school with, reputable da-da-da-da-das, and you get said card. I know it costs a little bit sometimes to get these, but it protects the wrestler's ass, it protects the promoter's ass, and it protects the whole locker room, essentially.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Like, I know there's some states that kids wrestle at 13. As a 47-year-old dad, I ain't for that. I'm not going to go to that card. It just doesn't gel. Yeah. You have to be 18 to wrestle. You have to do this. You have to do that.
Yeah, I say at least 16, I would say.
All right, we'll meet in the middle.
Yeah. But North Carolina, you don't have to be licensed either. I have had, because I've looked into getting licensed in other places that require it, but it doesn't even necessarily require you say where you're training at, though. It's just kind of like a physical.
Right.
So it's like still... Yeah, I mean, I could be healthy, but still not trained,
Exactly.
So, yeah, a better method of that, I think, would be helpful just to make less accidents,
It's safety.
A lot of people in the indies we're not balling in money, So
no, I know. And that's why,
getting hurt is not good.
I think there should be like one that maybe if you get, I'm now making rules for indie professional wrestling, by the way, CC. I think there's like, and I don't want to say commission because that's something that it stirs the pot, but like one database out there that somebody runs that, you send me your stuff and, you prove that you were trained and da-da-da-da-da, and you pay $50 for 3 years. And it's good for all 50 states. Instead of you having to get one in North Carolina, one in Pennsylvania, one in Oklahoma, one. That's kind of stupid. Because, like you said, indie stars aren't balling in money. That's probably going to be my favorite saying of this, but you're right. So, I think there should be an overall, group taking care of this to make sure the safety is there. But I think there would still be those... as somebody says, outlaw mud shows that would not be involved with it. And I think those are the people that are killing wrestling a little bit.
At the end of the day, it's going to be hard to avoid altogether, for sure.
I agreed. So I said most of that. CC listens, so don't send her hate. Send me the hate. I'll take it. I don't care. How much wrestling do you watch today? Like AEW, TNA, like, do you spend all 40 hours that wrestling's on? Did you watch me on Dynamite the other night? Did you see this, that, or the other thing? Like, how much time do you devote yourself?
I don't catch live TV very often. I do training on Wednesdays, so I never catch Dynamite live. I will sometimes go back and watch it, but I'll usually I won't skim through it for the most part. So I keep up with everything, but as far as watching everything all the time, unfortunately, no. It just doesn't. Time is, there's not a lot of time in the day.
It's precious. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the wrestling that I'm watching is more so for like match study and things like that on the weekends or during my free time at work during the day on YouTube.
Oh, so you're using company time to watch wrestling. That's good. No, I'm kidding.
Don't say that out loud.
Okay. How far back do you go? Will you go back into the 80s, 70s, early 90s or anything and watch wrestling?
I don't. I should, but honestly, I don't. I don't do it a lot. No. But I do. I should take more time to do that because there is a lot of value in that, like old school wrestling, and that gets where I train at. That gets harped on us a lot is old school wrestling. So I do get trained a lot in it and hear about it a lot, but I don't. I don't necessarily go back and watch it as much as I should.
I'll come back to this question because shame on me. I haven't made you say. I love giving wrestlers their time to also talk about where you train, because giving them a shout out because what they're doing with you is amazing. So I'm sure there's a litany of other cats and gals there that I would love to have on the show. Tell me where you train and why you picked that.
Yeah, I train at 26 Wrestling Academy. It's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's owned by Hang Time, so he's the head trainer there. I mean, I landed there initially because it was, near where I was, so it was a location thing. But I stuck around because he's a good trainer. It's a reputable school, Everyone there is super nice, super helpful. He treats it as like a family vibe, which is pretty cool. We go and do cookouts and pool parties and stuff after training sometimes. So it's a really, really cool place to be. That's where Jack Tatum is. That's where CJ is. All the Infamous is training there. So we all train together.
You said one word, and I love when independent wrestlers, any wrestlers, say this about where they're training family, because you'll bust your asses in the ring to get better, to do this, do that, but you're busting your asses for Jack to get better, for you to get better, and it's safe then. That's what I like, because you're not just in there. Again, you're not at Can Crushers Wrestling Academy, which is not really a thing, by the way, if anybody's looking for it. It's not really a thing. But I'm not just picking Joes off of the street and say, hey, this guy can train you. You know that they're for your well-being.
Right, yeah.
All right, back to the tape study thing. Who are you currently watching now? Are you like engulfed just in one person? Is there an era? Is there something that you're engulfed in?
Not necessarily. I've been watching a lot of just like I want to get more into some Japanese style women's wrestling, so I've been watching some of that, as well as I'll watch a lot of like NWA women's wrestling as well. But just I don't have like a specific. I'm just kind of on YouTube and whatever pops up, I'm like, all right, I'll watch this. I am kind of looking to expand, more of my moveset and things that I do. So I am watching, girls that are more closely related to like my size. So I'm a little on the smaller side for the most part, but again, on the taller side. So a lot of what I watch is for, trying to develop myself more.
Right. Yeah. And that's the best way of doing it. Okay. So we talked about a lot of cool stuff that you've done and getting into wrestling and this, that, and the other. It's time for an embarrassing moment, Cece. You have to have one at training or in a match or just in life. You have to throw some shade at yourself.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Oh, so we have a lot of them, don't we?
Well, I yes, but I block them out of my mind because I don't let negativity affect me.
Oh, look at you, Dr. Phil. Sorry.
No, so one of the biggest ones, and I still get picked on about it. It wasn't even that bad of a moment, I didn't think. But anyway, I was just at training one day, and I don't even remember what I was trying to do. So I was trying to run from one end of the turnbuckle to the other, and I was getting really into it, and I took off running, turned around, and just face planted right on the ground. Completely. I might be athletic, but I'm a bit clumsy. I'm a clumsy person in general. So I face planted on the ground, and everyone laughed at me. So that was probably the biggest training one I've had so far. Oh,
that's good. That's good enough. You threw yourself under the bus. At least you answered. Some people are like, I've never done anything embarrassing in my life. Yeah.
Oh, a couple shows ago, I tripped over the stairs, not once, but twice. The stairs didn't move.
Same match. Same match. Oh,
yeah.
Man, that's brutal.
Right, yeah. But I played it off. The stupid chairs, who put those there?
Right.
That's the chair's fault. It wasn't my fault. I mean, not the chairs. Stairs' fault. It's not my fault.
Greatest, we'll get back to gloating on you now. Greatest accomplishment in your wrestling career? Is it a title? Is it just stepping into the ring? Is it a match that you think meant nothing, but it meant like, what's your number one thing right now that you're like, yeah, that's what I'll hang on my mantle?
Can I say two?
You could, yeah. No, you're not allowed. Yes, you can say two.
I can't. Okay, well, the first one's just sentimental because I had like both sets of my grandparents got to come to one of my matches. And my parents and both sets of my grandparents. So that was one of my favorite days because that was just really cool. My grandma hates it, by the way.
Oh, grandma.
She's like, they're beating up my baby. Like, I'm okay, my grandma. I'm okay. But so that was a big one. And then just recently, I won my second title so far. And it was in a street fight. So that was the first time I've had a match like that. It was in a company that I really enjoy working for. With people I really enjoy working with. So that was, and there's like three big people that I really look up to in wrestling that since I've been training that helped me get to where I am, and they were all three there to see it. So that's probably my favorite night so far.
Cool. That's, of course, I love the grandparents one. I really do. And the titles are always wonderful. I completely agree. Can you look back, when you first saw John Cena and you and Dad were watching wrestling and you didn't think you wanted to be a wrestler, but now you're a wrestler taking over North Carolina, the East Coast and everything. Can you look back as you hover above yourself as a little CC and say, I did this and I'm kicking ass at it?
Oh yeah, no, I had that realization a lot where it's like, oh man, like 14-year-old me would be so proud right now.
That's great.
So,
I got the chills for you right there. That's why I paused. I got the chills for you because that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Moving forward, this is essentially July in 2024, so there's 6 months left. We kind of talked about Infamous already, but what are goals for CC Young for the rest of this year? Is it knock off a couple more states? Is it to do this? What do you want to do by the end of the year?
So I actually haven't gotten a chance to wrestle outside of North Carolina yet. So that's a big goal of mine by the end of the year is to do that. South Carolina requires a license, so I'm working on that. It's kind of a pain in the butt.
See, I'm telling you, that's why I should do this whole database thing. I should.
Yeah. Yeah, just the process is a lot. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing is I'm trying to get out of state. I'm trying to get out more. I want to work different women. On the indies, there's not a whole lot of women around. There's way more men than women in wrestling, period. So there's just like so many different women that I want to step in the ring with that I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
Well, throw out some of that because this isn't your dream match yet. So throw out some of the women in and around your area that you haven't worked or you want to work again with, or so you give them some love too.
Yeah. Some that I haven't worked yet that I really like around here. Caitlin Marie. I don't know if you heard her. She's amazing. I love watching her wrestle. Audrey Allen. We've trained together a little bit, but we haven't worked each other yet. She's super cool. So those are probably the two biggest ones that I haven't wrestled yet. I wrestle Milo Johnson a lot. I love wrestling her. She's awesome too. I think you've had Clara on the show before.
I have had Clara. Yep.
I would love to wrestle her some more as well. We've wrestled once before, but I want some more.
I think that should be at WrestleCade. I think that should be at WrestleCade this year, don't you?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
In Winston, you can make it over to Winston-Salem around Thanksgiving time, right?
Oh yeah, that's right up the road.
Yeah, it is right up the road. All right, this is the time, and I think we know the answer to this. We kind of alluded to it a couple of times. Dream match: who, where, and what stipulation?
100% Dr. Britt Baker. It'd just be like the ultimate full circle moment for me. So that it would be that, and whenever I did the thing, she had the title.
Right.
So I have the title on in the video. So for the AEW Women's Championship, that would be the dream, I guess.
And do you have a where? Would you want it in Fayetteville? Or you want it in her hometown?
Probably closer to somewhere in North Carolina, maybe like Charlotte, Raleigh, one of the bigger cities. Just so, because a dream match like that, I would want as much of my family and friends to be there as possible.
in a big pay-per-view. So
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big states.
Did I forget anything? We're going to get to your socials and where you're going to be in merch and all that stuff. But did I forget anything that you want to bring up to everybody on here and say, hey, da-da-da-da, or did I cover all the bases?
I think you got it.
I think I got it. Yeah, I'm gloating.
Yeah.
All right, so give everybody your socials so Can Crusher Nation can follow you. Do you have merch, and where are you going to be in the next couple weeks?
All right. Yeah. So my Instagram is just ccyoung_26. You can follow me on there. My Twitter is different. It's at simplyci with 2 underscores. I need to change that. And then I'm on Facebook as well. It's just CC Young. And TikTok, but I don't really get on there much. But you can go follow me on there. That'd be cool.
You're not doing any dances? See, I didn't know anything about TikTok yet. So
it's just like some old ones on there if you want to dig up those.
Okay.
Like some Christmas. But yes, I do have merch. I don't have any up on a website or anything, but if anyone's interested, you can totally send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and I'll get it shipped out to you for sure. I have a couple t-shirts. I have a CC's Pizza inspired logo on a shirt, so people like that one.
You were unbelievable on social media too, by the way. It is disgusting how much she helps her promoters. When she's on a card, you will not forget that you're on a card. I say that you were unbelievable. Like every day, you're like Ricky Morton putting asses in seats on there. I got sick of looking at your Facebook. I'm like, all right, I know you're gonna be there, but that's unbelievable. You do such a great job at it.
I worry about that sometimes. I'm like, am I doing too much?
No, you can never do too much.
There you go.
But where are you gonna be?
Let's see. This weekend, Sunday I will be in Oak Island, North Carolina, wrestling for UPWA. I think we're doing a mixed tag match with me and half of Infamous Jack Tatum. So that'll be fun. Then let's see. Next weekend I'll be in Wilkesboro, North Carolina for Squared Circle Champions. Then the week after that I'll be in Lumberton, North Carolina for Next Level Pro Wrestling, and then on from there.
Yeah, just follow her Facebook and all her stuff. You
never know when something gets added in either, so
you will know where she's going to be. Cece, this has been a blast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait to have you back on to talk more about when you're facing Britt, when you're going to do this, when you're going to be doing that, when you're getting signed, because you're kicking ass and taking names. I know I've said it a couple times, but I can't say it enough. You know, the little bit of homework that I've done, I love everything that you're doing. So keep doing it. You're going to be noticed and signed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, this is Shauna Reed, and you're listening to Can Crushers. This guy's awesome, but sometimes, he likes to talk about other things that are about Joe Jonas, and really wants to be about the Jonas Brothers. So enjoy his fandom about wrestling and secretly duetting with Joe Jonas.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was CC Young. What a fun interview. We kind of hit on where she started and all of that great stuff. I'm telling you, I have a feeling about CC and just being signed soon, because if you don't know who CC is and you discover the independent wrestlers that we get to talk here on Can Crushers, I hope you guys really are going to give them a follow and watch some of their matches and everything, or at least some of the clips that they put on, because that's essentially the way I do my homework, and it's so much fun just watching the progression. Because when I do stock, back from the beginning, I go way down and I watch up, and I'm like, holy cow, you can see the progressions, and you can see that in CC, that she's going to be taking on the world pretty soon, and love to see, maybe get AJ Lee out of retirement. I brought up Lita. I brought up Charlotte. I brought up I think her and Hollywood Haley J would be amazing. Get CC over to OVW for a little bit. But yeah, a lot of big things coming to us and CC Young, because I think a lot is going to be noticed real freaking soon. Guys, again, have a wonderful 4th of July. Be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. If you're going to drink, don't drive. Also in Can Crushers, we do love some beers. We love some beers, but we do it responsibly. We always have somebody in our back pocket to help us get us where we need to be. So happy Independence Day, and I hope you guys spend it with your families and just chilling out and having a nice day off in midweek. So remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.